Welcome to Jesus with Joy. I am Joy and I am in joy. And I'm trying a new video setup. I've been trying to do live streams for 2 weeks straight and they're not working very well. So, this is our new setup. We're trying it today. And, God was talking to me a lot today about grace and forgiveness. And the person in our lives that we are generally the hardest on is ourselves. We criticize ourselves and berate ourselves for not accomplishing everything that was our desire, for not doing it fast enough, or not having it be as beautiful or perfect as we desired it. And it is a challenge of living in the physical to move with time and move with grace within time. Grace for ourselves and grace and compassion for everyone else, and understanding and forgiveness. And every day, wake up and try to do better. Okay? We're all human. We're all fallible. We all make mistakes. We all do things that are not in the highest alignment that God would probably prefer us not to do. And yet, He has ultimate compassion and forgiveness and understanding because He knows we're at school and that we're here to learn. And in order to learn, you got to make mistakes. God sees us much more like 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds and 5-year-olds just trying to figure it out. He doesn't expect us to know it all. We're not Jesus. We can become like Jesus. Jesus was like a college graduate. Okay? He's just like us, just a lot more experience, a lot more knowledge. And Jesus knew that every one of us were meant to be like God, and that every one of us had all the potential to be God. And that there was not a one of us that was a less than God, because Jesus Christ knew the truth. We're all exactly 2 cups of God, no more, no less. We are all 2 cups of creator consciousness, of source energy, of the divine manifested in the flesh. And we're all beautiful to God, the creator that creates all things, not the silly white man with a beard that we created in our image. That's a God that we created in our image. And the I am that I am is the all that is all, who created all and creates all and continues and forever will create all. And we are all each a piece and a part and a child and a being that is God manifested in the flesh. We're 2 cups of God, and God is an entire ocean of understanding that is literally more than we can comprehend, because we are limited by the flesh. We are limited by time because we are vessels that live inside time. Where the source that is all that creates all lives outside time. He creates time to create in the physical. The time in heaven is the quantum now that's very different than what we live in. And it's forever expanding and beautiful. Beautiful. Heaven is beautiful. Heaven is nothing but love and light and beauty and joy and rapture. And I love touching heaven every morning and getting in tune with the peace and the love and the forever and the perfection of all. And then I come back in my body and I go out in the world. And I'm like, what the heck happened here? Oh my goodness. And I'm like, God, can you like explain? Because this makes no sense. How are you in all divine perfection? And how is the physical this mess of not perfection? And over the last 2 years, I got all those answers. I can explain the universe to you mathematically, vibrationally, scientifically, and religiously, spiritually, through Jesus Christ. You know, take your pick. We all end up at the same spot. Just lots of different ways to get there. The point of my everyday is to create a little more heaven on earth. And that is the point of my website and the point of this YouTube channel. And now that we got a better video set up, I'm not sick. I've been very bad. I have had a bad smoking habit in my life, and it is something that is leaving me. But as I am a fallible child, you know, I'm learning and growing and doing better every day. And so I have a cough because I've smoked for more than a minute, and I'm letting it clear out of my body. But I'm sharing that with you because I want everyone to know that I'm just human. I'm just a human that loves God and wants to help create heaven on earth. And I love Jesus Christ. But here's the truth. If we all just ascended to the vibration of love, and we all just lived the law of love, and we all just created our most beautiful life, sharing and caring and being in love, we would never have to talk about Jesus Christ. That's the truth. Because we would just all be love, and we would all ascend to the vibrational love, and we would create heaven on earth, which is all Jesus Christ was here to teach us. And I love my brother, and I honor him very, very much. His mission, his life, and his purpose. And I love you, my brothers and sisters on this planet. I love you so much. You are the precious, precious children of God, star seeds, beings that are immortal, living in flesh for a few moments of eternity, here to live and learn how to create heaven on earth. And so we can learn how to live in heaven when we go back. And there'll be more videos about that, because people think, oh, it's heaven, I just go back, because everything goes back to source. But there's different ways to return to heaven. There's different levels. There's just a growth. There's a reason we're here in the physical to learn, and that will be covered in more videos later. Just know that I love you and God loves you. And this world has a reason, a plan, and a purpose. There is meaning behind all of it. And it's time for us on earth, all of us, to remember the truth of Christ, that he taught love. And if we just remember the law of love, and we love each other, and we love the Creator that created all of us, and we respect each other as creations of God, as little pieces of Godhood growing, and we remember we're all kids, and it's like kindergarten, and we have to learn how to play nice and get along, we can create heaven on earth. And the reason it's important is because heaven is so beautiful. But in heaven, you instantly manifest anything. And boom, it instantly manifests everything instantly. The moment you have a thought, it manifests. You think about fried chicken, you think about fried chicken. You think I'm angry at Sally and I wish her harm. Sally is instantly harmed, and so is everyone in heaven. You think to hell with this place, this is bullshit. that just went through heaven and everybody heard you and everyone felt you. You think, destroy this place, and you have just destroyed heaven. That's why puppies aren't allowed in heaven. Kindergartners are not allowed in heaven. You can't just, it's just vibrationally impossible to have a being that could destroy heaven into heaven. You can't. Okay? It's not allowed. You can't allow something that doesn't know better to come destroy something so beautiful and perfect. And so there's lots of safeguards. And so while we all go back to heaven, the question is always, what do you go back to heaven as? Do you go back as a master like Jesus, our brother, a college graduate that knew all the laws of God and the universe and how to manipulate the framework of our physical reality? Or do you go back as a kindergartner? Because if you go back as a kindergartner, you go back to what you were, which was part of a God. Okay, you're like 2 cups of God that's been separated from God. And you're being grown to become a God of your own, a God consciousness, all your own, that's atomic and a full-fledged God like Jesus. Okay, you have to learn all the laws of the universe. And it can take many, many, many lives, thousands of lives to become God. And we do it on more than one planet. We live a bunch of lives on one planet, we go to another planet, we live a bunch of lives on another planet, we go to another planet, we live a bunch of lives on another planet. Okay. And I can explain it all mathematically to you, but it's easier for humans to understand the idea of a bunch of, like a video game. And you start out on easy levels, and then it gets harder and harder, and you have side quests where you go retrieve some magical object or some weapon, or you go defeat a boss of some kind, some kind of evil, and then you continue on, and you go through this video game, leveling up and gaining power and knowledge and skill, and teammates. It is a save the world together. We don't save the world alone, we do it together. And we go through life after life after life with our soul families, growing and learning and becoming. And that's what the physical realm is supposed to be all about. It's supposed to be about us spending time learning, not spending time surviving. And when we learn how to share and set our economic games up, monopoly games that we can all win. I've seen planets where everybody's millionaires. Okay, there's so much wealth, and everybody just gives each other more wealth and expands the wealth and expands the wealth. Where in this reality on this planet, we have a imbalance where, worldwide, the top 20% have 85% of the global wealth. Okay, country by country, it can vary. In Russia, the top few percentages, like the top 2 or 3%, have over 95% of the wealth, and 98% of Russians, like 98% of the Russians, okay, live on less than like 2 or 3% of the entire wealth of the country. They're very, very poor. And they have a massive amount of wealth that's being generated by their country. Just the population doesn't get to share in it. It all goes to a very small percent. In the United States, China's not as bad, but it is very high in the 90 percentile that the top percentage has. In the United States, the top 20% has about 86% of the wealth of our country. And they are actively moving to take more. 80% of us, the bottom 80%, live on less than 15% of the wealth that we're generating. We have less than 15% of the wealth. I mean, they give it to us. It just costs us everything to survive. Why? Because that's the way we set up the Monopoly game. We can change the rules. As a society, we can change the rules. And we can make it more equitable. And we can make it so that the lower parts of our economy get to share in some of the wealth. And that we don't have a literal system of slavery where the top 20% have 85% of the wealth and the next 20% have like 8% of the wealth, and the next, this is the upper middle class, this is the middle class. The middle class has like 3 to 4% of the wealth. And this next class has less than 2%. Okay, and this class down here has none of the wealth. They only have debt. So literally the bottom 50% of our country has it's less than 5% of the wealth. And the upper 50%, the upper middle class and the higher parts of the middle class have literally like 95% of the wealth, and the lower 50% of America do not even enjoy 5% of its wealth. We can change the game. We can make it better for everyone. Or we can make a game where corporations steal all the wealth and 50% of us live in slavery, where we work 40 hours a week for 40 years and we have an economic system that takes all the wealth we create just to survive, just to pay our bills, just to have the basics requirements of life and living in this society. These are all choices we make, okay? Heaven wants us to create heaven on earth, and we could do that. My next video is going to be about creating heaven on earth. This video is about why we're here and having more grace and compassion and understanding for ourselves, okay? Because God sees us all as children, kindergartners. Really, or barely any of us are second or third graders. Okay, we really don't know the laws. We really don't understand who we are or why we're here. We're just banging around in this life trying to survive. And God wants us to do better, and we can do better. We can create heaven on earth where we all have more time, more wealth, more abundance of time and love and health and wealth and love and an abundance of everything good. The way they create heaven in heaven. Number one, everyone's connected. So everyone feels everybody. And everybody's in love and joy and love and rapture and just joy. And the way they create heaven in heaven is every day everybody wakes up and says, how can we create more heaven? And joy goes over there and creates more joy, and peace goes over there and creates more peace, and excitement goes over there and creates more excitement. Actually, it's like George, I think, is always creating the excitement. George and Carl, they're the troublemakers. And Bob's over there creating a sports car. Everyone creates what makes them joy and happy and love, and then we all have a lot more joy and happy and love, and we share everything. There's no lack or want. There is nobody in pain. There is nothing less than love and joy in heaven. There is nothing less. It can never be less than heaven. It's glorious. And it's where we all go back to. And I love you, my quantum brothers and sisters. Every one of you is a star seed. A star seed is an immortal being, cloaked in stardust, blown from the hearts of stars thousands of years ago, millions of years ago. God's like, 3 or 4 minutes ago. That's why don't ever ask God about what time it is. God lives in his own time. Like a million years. He's like, that's 15 minutes. I'm like, That was a million years. He's like, yeah, okay, less than 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, your time is not my time. He's like, no, my time is not your time. I love you. Quantum hugs and kisses from heaven. This is technically my Jesus with Joy broadcast that I tried for an hour and a half to do live this morning, and I couldn't. I love you. I love you. I love you so very, very much. I'm so very excited to be finally able to have a setup and then be able to record these truths and bring them to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your time. If you find anything in my videos blesses your life and helps you, please share it with our brothers and sisters on this planet so that they can move into love and joy and light and know who they are and why they're here. So we can all work together to create heaven on earth. Which is not about Jesus. It's about loving. I love you. Quantum hugs and kisses from heaven. Have a beautiful day dancing on this magical planet.